It's Sunday morning. I hope you're awake. I'm getting there. Hello again, everybody. I'm Gary Gonzo. Welcome to Race First coverage of round 6 of the inaugural season of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar DW12 Championship Series as we come to you from Pocono Raceway. So I told you when I started the season I was alone, but I'm not alone anymore. We're actually giving someone a bit of a tryout. And we'll see if we'll tear off their rookie stripes at the end of this episode. But joining me in the booth for the remainder of the season, like I said, he's trying his hand with IndyCar broadcasting. But normally you can find him competing in the IndyCar Oval Series. Please welcome Kyle Klinswer. So Kyle, welcome to the broadcast, first of all. But second, we talked about this in the pre-race show. It's called the Tricky Triangle for a reason. 3 different turns, 3 different radiuses, 3 different bankings. How do you get around this place with consistency without having to lose something in one of the corners?
Hey Gary, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I like to think that the Oval Collier Series in these open wheelers is the most fun series on iRacing. Pocono is super difficult. Like you said, it's 3 different turns. You've got Trenton in turn 1, which is an old, discontinued, demolished speedway. Turn 2 is Indianapolis, and turn 3 is the Milwaukee Mile. All 3 of these turns are really wide, so you have options. Single car by yourself in clean air, you're going to hug the yellow line, typically, but you want to use every inch of the racetrack. You want to go all the way out to the wall on corner entry, and then all the way down to the apex, right on the yellow line. Whenever you can, when you're in clean air, that's the way to go. But if you're in traffic, the high line can be fast.
Yeah, multiple lines, especially around turn 1. You can go high, middle, or low. Turn 2, pretty much single file, everybody on the bottom, just like Indianapolis. And turn 3, you can go multiple lines there, but the very, very flat and not a lot of banking to keep you on the racetrack. 2 minutes, 5 seconds left to play here in qualifying. Currently watching Pedro Bybel as he is on the track, currently provisionally on the pole. Julian Altina, 210.9. Gary Lovern right behind him with a 209.9. Alec Van den Bosch right behind them. Pardon me. Well, Rafi Eckert just bumped down Van den Bosch with a 209.699. Van den Bosch with a 209.680. Minute 41 left to play, and we still got a couple drivers left to take some time. Santos and Kane. But while we're waiting for the remainder of qualifications to complete here, just all the real-world IndyCar records you need to know from Pocono. The USAC track record set by Peter Revson, driving for McLaren Racing in 1973 with a lap of 190.468. That's how fast they were going back here in the early 70s. The kart track record held by Emerson Fittipaldi, driving for Patrick Ganassi Racing. That's where Ganassi eventually got the spinoff from Patrick. In 1989 with a lap of 211.715 miles per hour. The IndyCar track record is held by Juan Pablo Montoya, driving for Team Penske in 2014 with a lap of 223.871. We're kind of in that late 90s speed window of kart with the rate. And Santos going off into the pits there. But we're kind of in the late 90s with speeds equivalents right now, especially with these DW12s. A lot of drag on them. 210.9 versus what we saw with Emerson in that 89 with a 211.7. The career wins leaders here at Pocono are AJ Foyt with 4, Rick Mears and Will Power, believe it or not, are tied with 3. So I keep saying it. Will Power has 5 5 500-mile wins. 3 of them came here during the 500-miler when IndyCar returned. Danny Sullivan, Al Sr., and Bobby Unser each have 2. So we're getting ready to start lining up and go racing. 6 seconds left, and Julian is going to get that pole. 2-1-0 right now. And let's take a look here at the starting lineup. Get that up on the screen as they are gritting up behind the Pace sedan. There we go. Julian Altina on the pole with a he was by far and away fastest car on the racetrack by 2/10, really. 42.7 versus Gary Lovern's 42.9. Rafi Eckert third with a 42.9. Alec Van den Bosch back there in fourth with a 42.9. Pedro Bybel also with a in the first in the 43 bracket with a 43 flat. And Yaroslav Decoy with a 41 Excuse me, 43-1 for P6. Moving on back. Sergio Vicente 7th, Alexander Bonney 8th, John Christensen 9th, Sebastian Kinder 10th, Mauro Ramirez 11th, Hunter Bogdan 12th, Edison Santos coming from the rear will be 13th, and Lee Kane 14th. Only a 14-car field here, 80 laps. Should be a fairly quick one. A lot of wide spaces here. It's really hard I want to say it's really hard in a car like this, even though it's a big car, with a track this wide, to maybe get some car contact with somebody, but we'll see, because they still have to race through turn 1 for the first time, and then after that, their field's going to get pretty strung out. So maybe we'll see a couple cautions, maybe we won't. It just remains to be seen, but should be a pretty quick one, 80 laps here at Pocono.
On the initial start, Gary, what I'll look for is to see, with a field this size, you could probably pull out, especially if the people in front of you are side by side, and get a very big run into turn 1. There's plenty of room to go 3, 4, even 5 wide. I know that's half our field, but I would not be surprised if someone got a jump to look to make up a couple of positions here to get that coveted clean air going into turn 1.
And the pace car is rolling out. Pocono, 2.5 miles super speedway. It's a dying breed here in the United States. You got Indianapolis, you have Pocono, you have Daytona, you have Talladega, you have Michigan. We currently just lost Chicago, or excuse me, California.
Auto Club, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And recently, actually, Texas World Speedway is officially dead as well. Lost that one as an addition. So the super speedway is dying here in the United States. This place is huge.
Ontario.
Yeah, before that, Ontario. This place is, and look at who's on the bottom there. Is that Eckert? Yeah, Eckert was on the bottom there, trying to, at least during the pacing lap here, trying to save some precious drops of fuel by riding on the apron. Strategy already in play. Coming through turn 2, which is Indianapolis. Down another straight. You can get a good draft here. Send it to the inside. Try to get the pass in 3. Although the high side in 3, I found in these cars, is a little bit faster. I was in another league in a shootout with Julian here. We were teammates, and he and I pretty much waxed the competition, and it came down between he and I at the end, and I couldn't quite get the car to stick on the bottom coming around this final corner, and he had the momentum up top and got the win just over me, but depends on how those tires are. Pace car is off. We're getting ready to go green here in Pocono. Round 6 underway of the DW12 Championship. Julian with the lead early.
Had a good jump there. They're not going to be able to mount a charge coming into turn 1, but they're 3 wide further back in the pack.
Santos, Eckert with the run on the high side over Lovern. Lovern went low exit, and Santos took the high side, continued the momentum, went right around. Eckert, Santos and Eckert in the same car, but Rafi Eckert now moved him up to 2nd, moved Gary Lovern back to 3rd, Vanden Bosch 4th, Bybel 5th. There's Seb Kinder side by side, sticking his right front underneath Donskoy, not quite able to pull it off. Alexander Bonney right behind him in the draft. And then Bosch out on Lovern. They get the position going into turn 1. Lovern staying high. Car up against the wall. That might have been Sergio. He is a little slower under power. Doesn't look like his side panel is damaged there, so maybe just a close, more of a netcode moment where it just got really, really close, and the predictive software says, okay, we're going to make contact. But there is Santos making a move on Hunter Bogdan coming down the main straightaway. Need to pull that pass off he can, but Bogdan is in the draft of Christensen, so that's pulling him right along. Side by side through one. Bogdan up high. I think Santos gets the position. He's clear. Not entirely. He hasn't ducked in yet. It's still there, though. It's a game of chess, really, when you're racing here, especially when you pull out to pass somebody, because if the car you're trying to pass is still in the draft of the car in front of you, he's actually going to have 3 wide on the main straight here. Let's take a look at that one. That's Kinder, Donskoy, and Bonnie. Yep.
And they got stacked up in 3. And it looks like they just took different lines and had different amounts of momentum coming off the corner, and they were able to fan out down the front stretch. And they're going to do the same thing here down the long pong straightaway before the short shoot coming into 2.
All right, boys, you can't go through there 3 wide. Get her settled. There we go. Seb Kinder really was in the worst shape of them all. He was going to be on the high side. There is no other high line through 2 to go faster. Everything's on the bottom. In fact, Seb looks a little unsettled at the moment, so he's trying to get back into a normal heartbeat.
He's going to have a big run here coming into turn 1. Oh, he lifted. He could have sent it right in the middle there if he wanted. Early in the race here.
5 of 80 in the books. And let's send it up front. I think we're going to have a battle here brewing for the lead. Rafi Eckert is caught back up to Julian here. Now, how soon is he going to attack, or is he just going to try to save some fuel here? Again, fixed setup DW12, none of the tools that you're used to in an IR18, if you follow the IR18 series at all, are available to you in the DW12. It's pretty much your hands and your foot.
I have to get out of the booth and strap into one of these.
They are fun to drive. One of my preferred series that I like to participate in is the Lionheart, and they actually discontinued it because of the broadcast ban, but they'll probably bring it back maybe here in hopefully a year or so. But they had they called the Speedway series, which was a DW12, and it was all ovals, and it was very, very fun. But if the setup that everyone was sharing was miserable, everyone was kind of miserable together. But the race at Pocono was a fun one. Wasn't very fun for me, unfortunately, because I was coming down to take the green, and I got the jump on the guy in front of me, and the guy behind me also followed me through, and then he pulled down, and I didn't expect him there, and we made a little bit of contact, which kind of pushed me up into the wall and damaged my side pod. Even I think my side pod might have been damaged even before crossing the start-finish line. And they have, I believe that was a 300 or 400 mile race. And the remainder of my race was at very slow speed. So here goes Rafi Eckert down low on Julian, got the run, but he will not have the momentum. He's trying. There's Julian with the lead on the start-finish line, coming down the one. Car into the wall. Seb Kinder back off of 4. And he punches out, but that is day done for Seb. Unfortunately, we've seen that so many times. I've been a victim of that. Coming off of corner number 3, and the back end just kind of comes around on you when you start getting that right rear too hot.
To me, it looked like there's pressure from behind.
Oh, we'll take a look here in the replay. Here we go back in the Wayback Machine. Eckert did pull off the
no contact, hard racing.
Okay, we'll take a look at it here. Eckert did pull off the pass with Julian. All right, so let's take a look at it from the spotter position here. That's what the spotter would have seen. Maybe kissed the wall, and that just kind of helped. Dirty air, definitely dirty air.
A little bit of air wash. Yeah.
Back up front, Rafi Eckert. P1, Julian P2. Alec Vandenbosch and Pedro Bibel in one of the closest battles on the racetrack. Here's the battle for 3rd as they go through turn 2. Now turn 3. Again, it looks like Vandenbosch might have hit the wall on corner exit. Ibel gets the run. Lovern gets the run too. So the momentum from Vandenbosch was a little interrupted there. Lovern down low on the corner of exit 1 now. If Lovern was thinking, he'd probably radio to his teammate, tell his teammate to go low and maybe try to get that draft. But Lovern are going to go side by side through Indianapolis. Not a good idea. That's the power of Indianapolis right there. That's on the bottom. You see Lovern shoot to a quarter car length advantage there. Now a full car length advantage. Give the position to Lovern up to 4th. Vandenbosch now back to 5th. And then Vandenbosch decides, I want that position back. So he goes down low into 1. Look at the momentum for Lovern up high as he closes the gap now side by side down the straight. Coming into 2. Everybody will go to the bottom of the racetrack now. Single file. There we go. They called it the tunnel turn. Of course, you just saw briefly there in the shot, the tunnel. You got 12 cars running. 2 cars have already retired, Donskoy and Kinder. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And this is a very early Sunday morning for the 6th round, or as a broadcast peer of mine likes to say, the penultimate round of the VOR DW12 championship. Next week will be the final race, and that will be at Indianapolis. We'll get the schedule here up on the screen here momentarily to show everybody what's going on here in the league. There it is. March 3rd, Indianapolis, another 80 laps. Now we'll round out the inaugural season. And there is a season 2 brewing. We've told you about that as well. And this is the tentative schedule right here for Season 2, starting off at Michigan on April 5th. Then Gateway on April 12th. Texas Motor Speedway, Daytona. They're going to do a little drafting, a little pack racing there, round 4, May 3rd. Back to Indy on May 17th, and Auto Club Speedway to finish the season May 24th. Season 2, if you're interested, join the VOR Discord, sign up. These cars are fun to drive, though. Very fun to drive, even without all the tools that you have. Actually, it's a bit more refreshing to drive without the tool set because you're just really relying on your hands and your foot and really your eyes to get the good line around the place.
And the field size is so small. I mean, you may have one teammate, right? But you're not going to have a dedicated pit strategist or something like that what'll help you make live calls. It's kind of, you have to be your own crew chief. Leaders might have checked out, but this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, they're single file, but they are all right in line with each other. If any one of them slips up, you know, you could get a battle that's too wide, and then the car right behind will suck right up. You lose so much time racing here because the lines are so clean.
That's Blybell in 3rd, right there. Lovern in 4th, so 2 team cars right there. Vandenbosch in 5th, and Bonnie now into the picture in 6th. Bonnie just riding in the draft, biding time. A little bit further back in 7th is John Christensen by himself. He has about a 2.5 second deficit to Bonnie and about a 2.5 second deficit back to Santos, so he is kind of in a no man's land at the moment. Santos in a battle with Vicente. This is for 8th. But once again, the reminder, there are tire limits here. They have, whoa, Santos hits the yellow line, gets squirrely. That's going to give Vicente the momentum on the high side. He has to give up that position in order to get back up to speed. You saw it right here. So, yeah. We have a saying here, Kyle, on the program. It's been, I think we started quoting it way back when we were covering the Indy Fix Series for the very first time is apron bad. And Sergio, or not Sergio, but Edison clipped that apron, and it started to bring the back end of that car around. And there's a lot of banking. It doesn't look like it, but there's a lot of banking in one. And if you clip the yellow, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, it'll totally de-wedge the car, make it very unstable. It's almost like you put 40 extra rounds of weight jacker into the right side. Turns you right around. Sergio got really lucky on that last lap. He tagged the safer barrier twice, once avoiding Edson, and then once just washing up out of 2, I think pushing to establish a gap. And luckily, no side pipe damage for him right now. Looks like he's still at pace.
Now, there's one area where you can, turn 3, you can get low enough, and if you can clip the apron of the rumble strips a little bit there to help the car turn. I've seen drivers do that. But nowhere else on this track do you want to get down under the yellow line.
I have gotten too greedy with the rumble strips before. In the car and in the cup car, you put both left sides down there, you gas it up, and sometimes it does not stick.
Yeah, the rumble strips giveth. They sometimes help the car rotate, and then they take away because sometimes they help the car rotate. So, so yeah, if you use them too much, that will unload the car. But if you use them just enough, that will help the car rotate just enough to kind of help you get through the corner. That's on the right now, and we're watching Sergio Vicente turn 3. He's a lane off the bottom right now, so he's well off those guys. Those tires are kind of giving up at the moment, and the big thing here at Pocono is just keeping your momentum up, because momentum on every single one of these corners is really, really key, because he needs to somehow find 2 seconds to reel in Bonnie, and that's really tough to do on the racetrack if you make a mistake. And then, of course, Bonnie, is racing with somebody. Actually, it's back up to the Christensen right there. Sorry. There's Christensen. So he's trying to make up that distance to Christensen. But Christensen also has no one to race with either, so that could be a battle of steady hands. We'll see how that one, who has the actual fastest line through the place. But they're trying to all catch Bonnie, Vanden Bosch, and Lovern, and they're all kind of all in a pack and drafting off each other and trying to stretching their advantage a little bit over those two. 20 of 80 in the book. Sorry about that. Go right ahead.
It's okay. The third place car, Pedro, is catching Julian. He's about 0.3 a lap quicker here the last 4 laps. A couple more laps, he's going to be in the draft, and that lead will diminish, and we're going to have a fight for second here, probably 4 or 5 laps.
I'll bring up my additional scoring there, and Eckert does have the purple lap with a 43.4, and we'll get that up on the screen here, tell you what a 43.4 is in terms of mile per hour. That's 207.7. Only 2 cars in the 207 bracket, Julian and Eckert. Julian with the 207.4. But you're absolutely correct. The last 5 laps, last 5 lap average for Julian, a 44.3, with Pedro at a 44 flat, so 0.3 a lap faster than the average for the last 5 laps.
And Pedro's training along with him, Gary and Venabos. They're within his wake, so they're just following his lap time. They can be a little slower in the corners, and then Pedro will just drag them along like the lead train car of a freight train down these long, long straightaways.
Let's ride along with Pedro, going into 1, starting right out the wall, bringing it down to the yellow line, letting the car slowly float out, keeping that momentum up to the wall. Now we're down the Long Pond Straight as we're starting to set up for turn 2. There's a gear change right there. Gear changes on pretty much every turn here. Not one there. Now that was Indianapolis to the bottom. Here is turn 3. This is Milwaukee. If you watched our coverage of the VOR IR18 series last night, it should look familiar. Julian down to the rumble strips to help the car rotate. There, here, Pedro hitting another gear in the 6th gear, going down the straightaway. Julian with a
slow burns.
Yeah, Julian with a very large arc into the corner. You're right. They are within that draft envelope, and when you're in the draft envelope, course, you're going to feel the benefit of the air, the hole in the air that is being punched in the air by the car in front of you. And then, of course, the other thing that you're going to feel is the aero wash. And that's kind of what Bybel is starting to feel now. Is he went lower into 3 that time than before. So he's trying to help the car rotate, give himself more room on corner exit. Bybel got his left front on the apron. Easy thing to do.
Apron bad.
Yeah, apron bad. And there you go. We developed a new race first commentator, folks.
Oh man, Pedro just tagged the safer coming out of 2. Let's see if he got away without damage. Oh, he's got right side pod damage. So it doesn't look like much, but the casing on the car becomes disjointed.
Yeah.
And it really hurts your straightaway speed.
It does. I've been in that position. It's like dragging a major parachute. So we'll see. We'll try to get another view of Bybel as he comes down the front straight here, but he is currently your car in 3rd. Take a look at the side of his car there. He's up against the wall. Tough to see, but he might have some damage. Last time by, he was a 43.9, where Julian was a 44.1. So maybe not. We'll see. Maybe Julian's injured. We don't know that. We've kind of been watching as the battle for first and second kind of unwound and not it was close as much. And we've been kind of looking back here at this battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, with 3rd, 4th, and 5th and 6th with Bybel, Lovern, McVandenbosch, and Bonnie. We could have missed something, but Julian is headed to pit road, I believe, as well as Lovern. Yeah. So this might be a team splitting strategy between 2 of the VOR cars. Christensen goes on by, so he's staying out. Pedro is staying out, so the VOR team's splitting strategies. And you
were exactly right about Julian being injured. His right side pod is also disconnected.
All right, well, we'll see if he gets to pit road here.
Not in the wind.
No.
But you can see there's separation there.
Yeah, you can definitely see it from just briefly from that view. And that is going to hinder him for the remainder of this race. It's going to frustrate him too. Lovern, though, all his side pods still look good. So he is keeping it, pardon the pun, clean and green. Meanwhile, we have, Bybel misses his pit box. That's going to cost him. He's having a hard time getting in there. Now he's finally getting service. It's now cost him 2 positions, at least 3 positions. He's down on the way, and he's going to come out with teammate Christensen. So now move Vandenbosch up to 3rd as he's coming off a pit road right now. Lovern getting around him. So Lovern gets the position on the undercut there. Vandenbosch now 4th. Bonnie moving up to 5th. And Pedro suffers the most. He is now all by himself in 6th. No one around him. Christensen now is in 7th with Edson Santos, who is the biggest mover of the race, up 5 spots. Santos in almost drafting position. I think, he is definitely within drafting position of Christensen. So Santos in that leader energy livery team, along with Rafi Eckert, is getting one more position and trying to climb his way higher into the top 10.
So, Gary, I went back and looked at Julian's laps. When he was racing with the lead with Rafael Eckert while we were watching the spin on the front stretch, he actually tagged the safer barrier exiting turn 2 side by side with Eckert, and that's where he got the side pad damage. He's had that since lap 7.
It's going to be a very frustrating remaining.
That explains the large lead.
73 laps now for him. It's going to be very frustrating. But he's still hanging on to second. And we'll now see that at some point a battle for, yeah, here it comes. And that's Lee Kane. That is
a blanket here.
Yeah, that's Lee Kane. He's in 12th, a lap down. We got a bit of a draft train here. Oh, and Lee into the wall.
Oh, Kane's in the wall.
I'm not. Yeah, Kane supporting the Galactic Empire today. But yeah, he was racing that group kind of a bit harder than I thought he would, especially being already a lap down and 2 cars behind the leader. And he raced them into 3, or into 2, actually. And we said that before, 2, space runs out rather quickly. And almost had some contact, maybe had some net code contact between himself and Lovern. But Lovern now up to 3rd.
To me, it looked like Kane was just trying to get to the bottom, and Lovern had a bigger run than Kane probably thought, and he had to turn back to the right to avoid spinning Lovern right into the safer barrier, into the fence.
Now, you know, when you're in a race that doesn't have a lot of cars, and then you start making laps and you start kind of zoning out, I mean, how important is situational awareness? I mean, is one of the things, is the relative one of the black boxes you have up all the time when you run?
Unfortunately, like I told you before the broadcast, I haven't ever used an overlay before today. So I usually keep the adjustable, at least in the IR18. I want to know what my ARBs and my weight jacker's at, so that way I can keep tabs on those. Okay. And then I'll bring the black box up when it's a pit cycle. So I got burned really badly. I was leading at Homestead earlier this season and fixed, and pulled up on the track and got rear-ended because, oh no, we got trouble in the short chute.
Mauro Ramirez in one of the VOR cars, the red one. And we'll take a look. We are still green. Yeah. We are still green. And I'm not sure what happened. He was not in a draft envelope, so he should not have had a lot of dirty air. But we'll take a look here. He just washes up, exit, and into the outside wall, inside wall, and day is done for Mauro, unfortunately. So turn 2, yet another victim of turn 2. I've been there. I've been a victim of turn 2.
I like to make the other drivers a victim in turn 2. You take the Max Verstappen approach. You put your car beneath them, or you pinch them down, and you say, this position's mine, or we're both crashing.
So back up front, quickly approaching the halfway point, 34 of 80. Eckert still your leader. A very wounded Julian Altena, turning laps in the 44 still. Losing ground, but still P2. Lovern is starting to reel him in. Lovern turning laps at 43.9s versus Julian's 44.1, so slowly reeling him in. He also has behind him Van den Bosch for 4th. This is an active, close battle on the racetrack. And then just, you see on the corner exit there's Alexander Bonney. He's involved in this battle just a little bit further back. Once they get in direct contact and start slowing down a little bit. John Christensen losing a position to Bleibel. Bleibel now the 6th. I think they're swapping positions right here. Oh! Pedro in the wall on exit.
Turn 2's been calamity quarter today.
Well, everyone's trying to, in order to keep your speed high, is you keep unwinding that exit, unwinding your wheel on that exit to, minimize the scrubbing speed. And a lot of them are just, unwinding at the last possible second and giving the wall a kiss. We've seen a couple do some amateur demolitions and try to knock the wall down. But we haven't seen, we've seen a majority of people just give that wall a little bit of a kiss.
Lovren and Van der Bos are neck and neck coming down the front stretch here, just going around.
Yep.
Kane, who's damaged and off the pace.
Bonnie got an advantage of that draft from Kane, and he's now right back in the battle. So move Van der Bos up to third there. Battle's not over yet.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And Julian, not too far down the road there.
In Julian's mirror, the best thing that he can see is these guys fighting for position. Bonnie's going to have a big run this lap on Gary Lovren.
Sends it to the inside.
There he goes, making a move into one.
Sends it to the inside. Not the fastest line. It is a shorter line, but not the fastest line. Still side by side going down Long Pond Straight. Now, what you see there is you see Lovren still in the draft of Van der Bos, and it helps pull him along. Bonnie has no choice but to get back in line. Single file through turn 2.
And what Bonnie could have done far more aggressively is put his right front right on the left rear of Lovren to drag him back and share the slipstream from the car in front. But that's really aggressive. If there's any net code or if anybody deviates their line a little bit, you both get sent to the stratosphere. Smarter, wiser approach to take your time and regroup and try again.
Right. Discretion and valor.
Bonnie's going to have another huge run here.
He's taking a peek on the outside. Lovren shuts the door on the outside. Add the run, you're right. I think it stalled out because he was trying to go the outside.
Yeah, he lifted. Again, being very patient, very wise here. Way more patient than I would be. I would be pushing the envelope every lap here.
And time is running out. We're halfway done now. 40 laps. That's 100 miles. And he gets a good run, pulls it out. Let's see if he gets down low. I think he might get it on exit. It'll be very close. There you go. Corner exit. Bonnie gets it. Move Bonnie up to 4th. Lovren back to 5th. So he just had a really good run. Sent it down low. There it is. So let's go take a look again. Let's go through the field midway through. As pit stops are done for everybody, at least the first stop. Most everyone went 27 or 28 laps. So we're looking about next stop, really, at about 7 laps from now. That's how quickly those next stops have got to us. There's Eckert. He just got around Hunter Bogdan to put Bogdan a lap down. He is your leader by 12 seconds over Julian, who is hemorrhaging time and speed at the moment due to damage of his right side pod. I don't know if we'll be able to see it in this camera shot here. There it is right there. You can see the damage very clearly. Happened on lap 7. So he is going to be running the remainder of the 73-lap race at that point with a damaged car. So far, he's held on bravely, but Van der Bos reeling him in last time by a 44.7. And Van der Bos a 44.2. So a half-second faster.
Half-second penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Racing with other cars is about half a second to 0.7 of a second slower as well. So Julian Altena's only hope was that Van der Bos, Boney, and Lovren kept mixing it up back there, and he would just keep creeping away. But they've sorted it out single file, and they're going to reel him in short order.
Bonnie, Van der Bos 3rd. We're watching them right here. Bonnie moving up to 4th. He's up 4 spots since the start. And Lovern still part of this group in battle. P5, down 3 spots, but still in the battle. A little bit further back, Christensen and Pedro, 6th and 7th. They're in direct contact with one another. I think Pedro keeps trying to knock down one of the walls here on the racetrack. I don't see any damage on his car, but he has made some contact before. And that's Christensen over by Bell.
Pedro,
go ahead.
They're not safe barriers. They're safer barriers, right? Boss is making a move here on Altena for second.
Exit of 3, going to get the draft down the longest straightaway in all of oval racing. To the inside, Julian's just going to hold his line. Julian knows that high line is quicker, but he's just so much faster on the straight that he can't hold him off. Moo Vandenbosch up to P2. Now, Bonnie is going to experience the Altena effect next as he moves now closer to the back end of Julian. Try to move up into the top 3. Bonnie, by far, one of his better races of the season. Let's ride along with Bonnie on the top of his roll bar there. In the draft to Julian. Starting to see Julian get a lot bigger in your screen. Down a couple gears. There you see him grabbing another gear and grab another gear. Julian clips the apron there, yellow line. That's going to get the momentum here to Bonnie. Bonnie's looking at the back end now very clearly of Julian. Going to the outside in turn 3. Julian hits the rumble strips, help the car rotate.
Bonnie's going to have a huge run. Running that second line there allows you to have more speed on corner exit because you're not in the wash. So you unwind the wheel earlier, and he sticks it to the outside so aggressive.
Yeah.
And what a move for it. Bonnie.
If he stays in this lane, he goes a crossover. If he stayed in that lane, he should have had a run on the high side, but Julian still... the one thing separating these two is definitely, I know Julian has run these cars a number of times, and I'm not really quite sure of what Alexander's skill set is, but in terms of experience, I know Julian has a ton of these cars, and that might be what's helping Julian in this battle is just experience.
I think, honestly, Bonnie is very patient.
Yeah.
Far more patient than I would be. Risk averse, but it's paying dividends. He might end up with a podium here, biding his time.
And this time he follows Julian down to the yellow line. Going to get a big run off the top side here, up at 1. Not enough to get Julian into 2. I've noticed that Vandenbosch has not disappeared. Oh!
No, he's only 4 or 5 car lengths ahead
Wow!
of
That was a big lift for Boney coming off of 2.
there.
Tight racing. And now we're looking at the pit window open again.
If I were Bonnie, I would undercut here. As soon as you can make it to the end on fuel, come on in, get those tires. Try to leapfrog in front of Altena, because he's holding him up.
I think they'll have to do one more stop after this. Because the first stops happened at lap 27-28. So now we're looking at 48-49 as the second round of stops. And then we'll be into the 60s and should get home after that point. I think we still have another stop after this. And let's see, do we have anybody on pit road taken? Nope. We did have Gary Lovern flash out there momentarily. He is back. I think you're right. I think you're right, though. If I'm Bonnie, I might pit now if I could. Short fill, get new tires, and do the undercut on Julian. I think literally what's helping Julian is he's managed to stay. Ooh, he is way down on those rumble strips, but he's managed to stay in the draft of Vandenbosch, and that's really helping him right now.
Build your own massage chair if you've got a real feel sim seat.
Oh, and Pedro Bibel. Well, that is a wrong type of camber you want to see on your front wheels. And right in front of the leaders, too. Does he get the car down off the wall? Not sure what happened to Pedro. We'll go back and look and see what happened here.
It was really weird. It looked like maybe his wheel disconnected. He was going through 3 just fine, and then turns right into the front stretch wall. Chalk it up to a tire failure, maybe, in real life, but this is sim racing.
Yeah, that looked like it might have been a wheel disconnect or something. Very odd. He's on pit road. Ralphie Eckert still your leader by 16 seconds. He's all by himself in a different zip code, turning the fastest laps consistently.
Can make an extra pit stop. Maybe we can radio him and ask him to take an extra stop, make it a little more interesting.
So we're going longer than I expected on this first stop, or the second stint, excuse me. So if you looked at where they stopped the first time, the window is open. Vicente in pit road right now. Coming down. I assume this is a scheduled stop. Here he goes, hitting his marks. Not quite. Slid through. Now he's on the marks. Cars go up on the pneumatic jacks. New set of tires on. Full tank of gas. They are limited to 85% fuel tank capacity. And down and away. Make sure you, get out wide. Don't want to get one of those pit road penalties. VOR is very strict on pit road etiquette. Now, did he come out too soon? I don't know. But there's another car on pit road. That is not Eckert. Eckert is still your leader. That might be his teammate.
Bonnie just got around Altena.
That's his teammate. Oh, and Edson Santos showing a little damage on his right side pod. Bonnie around Altena. Julian to pit road. And his teammate, I believe Lovern's coming with him. Yep. And we'll see if Christensen comes around. Christensen's going to stay out. I believe that's Lee Kane using the safety road there to come back on the pit road. Now make sure you you have to stay in the high-speed lane until you get about 3 or 4 spots away from your pit, and then you can come down to the inside lane. That is the rules here in VOR. Often, and you've seen this too, as Kane slides through his spot. Not easy to hit your marks, and even in the best of days, sometimes with these. Not just these cars, but Indy cars. But sometimes I know, Kyle, that you've seen in some of the Indy fix races where you come to pit road and everybody just does a straight parade through all the pit boxes because everyone's ghosted.
It is faster, so people do it to gain advantage. If you don't do it, you get passed.
And
feels
Eckert,
a little cheaty, but
yep. Yep, I agree. Yeah, Eckert is actually your leader now is Bonnie. He's stayed out the longest. Eckert completes his stop on pit road. It might be good to go to the distance. I'm not sure. Now they went, let's see. He stopped at
27 to 55.
55. But he went 28. So 55 plus
short,
28.
Got a little extra in the tank.
Yeah. Well, if he goes 28 at 56, Santos should be able to make it. But maybe they're done. It depends on really how early they stopped.
Bonnie spent that whole last run right behind Altana, so he probably saved about a lap, maybe a lap and a half.
And he's down on the way right there for his stop.
Yellow on the track.
Yep. Where? Hunter Bogdan? See Hunter Bogdan slow. So those guys that just stopped probably did not like that. That is okay. So the issue is with Hunter Bogdan. And okay. All right. So I don't know. Is he slowing down, trying to come to pit road? Or the back end just kind of come around when he's trying to brake to slow down? Now he's stuck in the middle of the track. Oh! Gary Lovern. Oh my goodness. Let's go Gary Lovern's car. I want to ride along in Gary Lovern's car. We're going to back this up a little bit. He had the oh crap, what are you doing moment in his car. Let's go to his roll cage. Roll bar here. Here he comes off of corner 3. He sees this in the middle of the track and it backs up on him. Oh.
Hold the brake. That's wreck rule number 1. And that's where having the black box set to your relative helps a lot. The spotter in the game is pretty useless, telling you if someone's coming or not.
So I think for sure
actually,
now,
everyone who pit under green.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is at an advantage because Pocono is so big. When you pit under green, you do not lose a lap to the leader unless you are just about to go a lap down anyway. So I think we had gone through, everyone had cycled through. So if they were close on fuel here, you might top off, but I would expect a lot of people to stay out.
Yeah, I think they're good to go now with this caution. If anyone was short, now they're probably good to go. I think Santos was good to go, or excuse me, Eckert was good to go. Keep getting the two Brazilian cars mixed up. But actually now you can, here comes Julian and Lovern coming in to top off. Interesting. They're giving up second and third place. Maybe for new tires? I don't know. There's Santos. Santos,
I would think maybe if they wanted to...
Go ahead.
Yeah, if they wanted to run full burn, I think they might have been right on the cusp. So...
Now, Santos running through all the pit boxes. That is not going to be looked at well by race control. And he's done. Nope, then he's back. So... Oh, I know what he's trying to do. Okay. So I think he's trying to get some additional damage reset by if you come short to your pit and then do a tow. There's a bug that sometimes fixes damage. And what he's doing now is, again, you mentioned it, he would get the tow penalty, but because this track is so large that you could do the tow penalty, do a pit stop, come out and still stay on the same lap, not lose a lap. But I think that's what he was trying to do there. He's up in the top 10.
Pod damage about
the
same as Julian Altana's.
So Pedro is out.
Point, who doesn't have side pod damage?
Yeah. Well, Eckert, I don't think does. Christensen now up to P2. I don't think he does. Bonnie has been driving a very safe race. I don't think he does. Julian, we know, does. Julian is 4th. They have a ton of, they have 2 cars a lap down between them. Vandenbos, unfortunately, fell a lap down as a result of his stop. So I'm not sure what happened there. Hunter Bogdan brought out the caution. He is a lap down. He's right there between... as one of the cars between Bonnie and Julian. But yeah, Vandenbosch was as high as 3rd at one point. Actually, 2nd at one point. We're going to see, hopefully, a 60-lap sprint, or a, excuse me, 60-lap. We're going to 20-lap sprint starting at lap 60. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going green next time by. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. If you're new to the channel, make sure to click subscribe. Make sure to click the thumbs up for helping the algorithm and everything for us. And click the bell. Make sure to get reminded of future Race First iRacing broadcasts. We got a lot of them. We got a lot later tonight. Broadcasting note: Season 7 of the Dark Horse Racing Series DW12 IndyCar Series will be tonight. Round 1, Kansas, starting at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Join myself with Ryan Eric King from Jalopnik.com. He will be joining me in the booth. And we'll kick off Season 7, Round 1 of that long-running DW12 series, the Dark Horse Racing Series. And it'll be their first appearance here on Race First. So happy to have them. That's later tonight. Meanwhile, right now, right here, 20 laps to go, going green. Rafi Eckhart has pretty much dominated this race simply by keeping very good care of his car.
Yeah, he reeled in Julian at the start. Julian made a little bit of mistake and suffered some side pod damage, and from there it's been smooth sailing for Rafi. I looked through the lineup. It looked like the top 5 cars in line all do not have side pod damage. So we may have a competitive restart here, and that huge lead that Eckert had amassed is now erased. So resetting here with 20 to go.
And we're green. Eckert gets a good jump over Christensen now to 2. Here comes the snake. Something very similar, very familiar if you race Indy cars here at Pocono, a very close quarter IndyCar racing. The snake down the front straight, trying to break the draft. Are you a big subscriber to the snake?
If I'm in the lead, I will snake until I have scales and fangs. If I'm in second and there's no one behind me, I become the snake's tail. So
I always thought it was scrubbing off speed unnecessarily. That was kind of my thought. So
if
when
you hold this car straight, yeah, I feel like if you hold the car straight and you don't snake, and the person behind you can take an alternate line into the next corner, whether it be outside you or inside you, you are a sitting duck. You have got to put them in a position where they cannot leapfrog you like that.
Fair enough. That's why you're the driver expert.
I mean, every track matters, right? So, I mean, at Chicagoland and fixed, if you just hold the white line, you don't need to snake, right?
The old IRL line, yeah. Yeah, the old Indy Racing League line there, yeah.
They'll only be able to pass you if they use the apron on the front stretch.
So we got in chat there. We got, let's go, Eckert, Santos, and Vicente. We'll get Vicente on the camera here for you. He's back in 7th, giving an update on Sergio. Sergio does not look like he's sporting any damage, so that is good for him. Now, Santos in front of him is sporting damage, so Sergio might have the slight edge here over Santos on a speed run. We'll see. That could turn into a battle. Back up front, Rafi Eckhart, leader by a second and a half over Christensen. Bonnie in 3rd. Julian just really just grasping and hanging on here by dear life, and to say
wide through the tunnel.
Yeah,
Sorry about that, Gary.
That's okay.
Sergio just got moved out of the way in turn 3 as Van de Bosch wanted to split them coming back up through the field.
Yeah, let's take a look here what happened. Unfortunately, we just broadcaster curse on Sergio, maybe. Oh, so I see what happened. He gets a handoff from one car. Handoff. Gets a good run. Gonna go on the outside.
Not in the tunnels in turn 3. Sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah, but it looks like he hit pit road smoothly. There was some hesitation there on some other drivers. I don't know if we were looking at a possible penalty or something. All right, well, back up front.
Boney just got by Christensen for second.
Yes, he did. Let's take a look at that move. And he set it up. I mean, it took better part of a half a racetrack to get complete, but here he is setting it up down the front stretch. Down to the inside. Gets him clear. Now that high momentum, high line. And he really pulled it off without the need of any attack from the high side. So that was a very clean pass, very effective pass. Move Bonnie up to P2.
Yeah, Bonnie's been running his fastest laps of the race recently. He ran a 43.7 on lap 62, reeling in and passing Christensen. Let's see if he can continue to click away and eat into Eckert's lead.
Check last lap speeds. Eckert by himself, 2:05.3 that time at the line. Bonnie that time by. He is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack by far, 2:05.1. Altena in the draft manages a 2:05 flat. Lovern a 2:05.2. This is in miles per hour. We'll check the next lap speed here for Rafi. He comes around turn 3. I mean, the 15 to go. Less than 15 to go, actually.
Oh, Altana just smacked the wall out of 3.
And that now puts him in the clutches of teammate Gary Lovern. Now, when you're working with teammates, I've only seen you run fixed, by yourself and without a teammate. What's your experience, first of all, running with a teammate? And now these two teammates, they got to be talking. What's the plan here? That you start planning a spot where Lovern can get around Julian safely without holding either one of them up?
So I don't have teammates, but I have people I run with pretty well. And what I would do here is I would get on the horn and see if we could swap draft to maybe catch Christensen. 2 cars working together are faster than 1 car by itself. Pocono, the straights are long enough that you can leapfrog or flip-flop, however you want to call it, and make up a couple tenths a lap. And that can be all the difference it takes to reel someone in and get a big enough run to put them in a bad position going into a corner.
There you have it. Eckert last time by a full mile per hour faster than Bonnie, 2:05.7. Let's go watch Eckert a little bit more here. Let's get him from the blimp view a little bit farther out, but we're going to see his line and what's making him so much faster than Bonnie. This time by Eckert, a 2:04.8. Bonnie will come by 2:04 flat. So what is making Eckert here a 8 tenths faster?
I would assume it's tire conservation, right? He got to run the whole previous stint in clean air as the lead car. He didn't have any traffic, anything to deal with. So he had clean air, fresh tires, and just hammered down.
I'm going to say pretty light hands, too. I don't think he's scrubbing off much speed.
Got to look at the scoreboard, and that fact is proven true.
I don't think he's scrubbing off much speed. 2:05.4 last time by Bonnie, 2:03.8. So Eckert continues to pull away. We'll get the differentials back up there. Bonnie leader by 4 seconds, or excuse me, Eckert over Bonnie by 4 seconds. Christensen to Bonnie is 1.5. So they're still in the draft window. This is going to be a battle here soon if Christensen can keep the pace. Julian back to 5th. Lovern got around. Yep. I just getting ready to point that out. So I wonder if they're working together on the radios, or Julian even reluctantly doesn't want to give up positions to teammates, but sometimes you have to for the good of the team. And Lovern is around. Julian is in the rear of this battle by about 1.5 seconds now. So he's getting ready to lose contact with the draft from those two. And very soon, he might actually, depending what 10 to go, if Santos is also damaged. So I don't know if Santos will be able to catch him. But very soon, Julian will be pretty much by himself.
Yeah, he hit the wall again after we had talked about the teammate orders, and Gary went by without much fanfare after the next straight. I think Julian just pulled over and let him go. Gary's taking alternative lines, trying to set up Christensen here. Or Lovern, excuse me.
Battle of teammates. Of course, the other joke that we have on the channel is that there's 2 rules to racing your teammate. Rule 1 is do not wreck your teammate, and Rule 2 is see Rule 1. So that is the general rule joke that we have here on Race First about racing your teammates, emphasizing don't wreck them.
You don't really want to wreck anyone. In these open wheel cars, if you make contact, you are going to suffer more often, just as much as the person that you hit. Just as we see with the side pod damage here, it's, a 0.3 of a second or 0.5 of a second penalty, more or less, every lap.
Yeah, for sure.
Unrecoverable.
Santos, I believe, into the wall. Here. Lovern down to the bottom to 1 and 2, or excuse me, turn 1.
Back in my NASCAR days, I would break Pocono into 6 corners. I'd call turn 1, 1 and 2, the tunnel turn 3 and 4, and then the Milwaukee turn 5 and 6 to entry and exit for all of them. People thought I was loony bin.
Well, I mean, maybe you don't call them turn, or maybe you call them turns, but I mean, I know other drivers would call them segments, and they're legit segments. And that can help, an engineer with setup saying, I'm at the entry of entry 2, which is a whole other segment that they can pull their data from. You can look and see, my entry there is rough. Help me out. I'm, loosed in, tied off, that type of thing.
You can just see how debilitating that damage is with Lovern just walking away from Christensen now that he's out of his wake.
Seven to go. Ooh, Eckert. Very high exit off of 3. Bonnie reeled him in a little bit. 4 seconds flat. 6 to go.
It may not look like it, but the end of these stints, the cars get light, the tires are worn and hot. If you were trying to hit a line really, really specifically, or maybe if you ease up 10%, that changes the aerodynamic properties of the car. And I've had races where I was in the lead late, and had a big lead and lifted a little earlier than I thought, rolled into the throttle a little later than I normally would, and it just changes the aero properties, and around I went. I've done that a couple times. It's very shameful, but I've never seen Raphael Eckert do it, so... I don't want to jinx him, but I hope he brings these last 5-6 laps home clean.
We all learn from our mistakes, Kyle. We all learn from our mistakes. Yeah, only 21 laps on this stint here to finish this race, so it'll be right about 26 laps. So about what he's done in his other stints. And the one turn that late in a run on these, and at this track, I love this track. That's, in fact, one of the last races I ran. I didn't do much racing during the broadcast ban because it was really kind of just depressing. None of the IndyCar races, none of the IndyCar leagues were big, and none of the IndyCar races were being broadcast. So I jumped in a DW12 race here and ended up finishing 8th. I like this track in many ways because I do well in turns 1 and 3. 2, just for whatever reason, even in a high downforce car and a concept car like the IR01, which we were running here for that race, it felt real light. The car feels real light in turn 2 for some reason. And you just got to have steady hands there. That's kind of the last place you really wanted to race anybody. 4 laps to go, 10 miles now. Coming to 3 laps to go. Just hit your marks. Standard laps to bring them home for another win for Rafi Eckert. Rafi got the win 2 rounds ago at Texas.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I mean, the 2 to go.
Honestly, a masterful drive by Boney.
Yeah.
He was so patient throughout this race, and it's paid off for him with the 2nd place finish. I would have stuffed it in the wall, and I'd be P10, P12 right now, probably, doing something stupid.
Well, there's another saying that we say here a lot on Race First: to finish first, first you must finish. And Bonnie is looking at a good one just by bringing it home, up 6 spots from where he started. Not the biggest gainer today. Edson Santos, we'll go back, take a look at Edson right here. He's up 7, but he is in a battle with Vanden Bosch. Actually, no, Santos is last car to lead lap. That is not going to be a battle. Vanden Bosch's first car lap down. White flag in the air.
And Vincini are both 1 lap down.
Yep. White flag in the air.
They have been in contact, though.
Yeah, that is a battle between Vanden Bosch and Vicente. That would be for 7th. Get back up front. Rafi Eckert. A moment there in turn 2. Hunter gives him a lot of room, but last place he really wanted to catch a car on the last lap. But coming around Milwaukee corner number 3, looking at the checkered flag, yet another win for Rafi Eckert and the Lerner Energy team. Bonnie, great finish, P2. Lovern, a great finish for him, P3. Christensen, a good finish for him in P4. Julian limps the thing home to 5th. You know what? That might be a disappointing finish, but I think that's kind of a miracle finish. You really think that that car would have been destined for lower in the top 10 rather than just a P5. I think it says a lot to Julian's experience, though, bringing these cars home in a much damaged state there. That'd be very frustrating.
Determination.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get your heart rate high and you work as hard as you've ever worked to finish a race to finish 5th. It's really frustrating.
Let's take a look at the final standings here from Pocono. Rafi Eckert with another win, P1. Alexander Bonnie, great finish. I believe this might be his best finish in the league thus far, P2. Gary Lovern with the podium finish in their 3rd. We'll hopefully talk to all 3 of them here momentarily. Christensen, Altina, 4th and 5th. Santos, Vanden Bosch, Vicente, Bogdan, and Bleibel back in the remainder of the top 10. Kane, Ramirez, Donskoy, Kinder is your top 14, and I don't think they win a second page. Nope, that was it. Just a 14-car field.
I know Christensen and Altina didn't come home on the podium, but they were weaving at each other on the cooldown lap coming into the pit road. So I don't know if that was friendly or if that was sending a message.
Hopefully they're teammates, so hopefully that might be a friendly.
It's friendly then.
Friendly banter, but we'll. That's Julian's a team boss, so maybe John's gonna be looking for another team. I don't know. Probably not. I'm thinking it's friendly banter, but let's get into the interview room, see who might be joining us here momentarily. No one yet. So while we're waiting, your first race here doing color commentary. Not a super exciting race, a little bit of strategy involved, but really we saw it was really had to do with all-out speed, how you could break away from some of these packs and get out on your own and defend your position. But your first race with us, what do you think?
It's as typical a Pocono race you could ever ask for. Clean air, single file, and long straights for big runs. I had a blast being in the booth. Thank you for having me. Hopefully, I'll be back for the season finale next week, and we can see some action from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, these cars are a lot of fun at Indianapolis. Still waiting. We got Bonnie in the booth in the waiting room there. We might pull him in if we don't see Lovern or Eckert yet. Give it another minute or so. And we'll go ahead and pull Alexander Bonney in here to start. Oh, there's Rafi. He's in. So we'll go ahead and start with Alexander. And if Gary pops in, we'll do Gary here just briefly before getting to Rafi. So bringing him on down. Alexander Bonney, welcome to the booth. Welcome to the podium. Great run by you. Very consistent. Kept it clean and green off the wall. Picked up positions on the racetrack and where other people made mistakes. Up 6 spots. You got to be pretty happy after this.
Yeah, I'm still shaking with the adrenaline.
Well, tell us about your race.
I'm very conservative. Keep it between the lines. Let other people make their mistakes. And I think I got really lucky with the timing of the safety car full course yellow, because it just allowed me to cruise to the end on fuel without having to worry too much.
One of the things that we saw out there is because the field was kind of small, you had to race in packs in order to kind of keep up with one another. Otherwise, if you got out of the draft, you're just kind of stuck in a no man's land. Very much in that first stint, you were kind of racing with a 3-car pack. Was it just part of the plan to stay in constant contact with somebody just to help you with that mileage in the draft?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it keeps, it pulls you along, doesn't it? But then towards the end of the race, the tyres were going off so fast, I couldn't stay in the draft, so I had to get a bit aggressive on overtakes. I mean, there was no way I was going to catch Rafi, but I gave it a go.
Well, great run. Nevertheless, good to see you on the podium. Thanks for being here and everything. I know you got some shout-outs because I know you got some. I know you're happy. You got some shout-outs you want to say. Go right ahead. The microphone is yours.
Just thanks again to Julian for putting the league on. Thank you to you, Gary, for providing such great coverage. It's a blast. My favourite thing to do on a Sunday.
Well, there you have it. Congratulations. And we'll see you hopefully in a week here at Indianapolis. Maybe back it up with another one.
We'll try. Cheers, guys.
You got it. Congrats. We'll see you. All right. And don't see Gary Lovern yet, so we'll bring down Rafi Eckert. Rafi, congratulations. Another dominant victory on your part. How do you make it look so easy?
Hello, Gary. That was a hard race, very hard track. Nothing you can change on the setup will work at the new Pocono. It's a tire model still from iRacing, but I managed really well to keep the tires cold and not get so close to the wall. I think every car on track after the first half of the race has a bit of damage. Not for me.
Right.
Congratulations for both drivers on the podium. Another win. Working really hard to win the championship. And thank you for my team. Edson was on track and Sergio Vicentini. And thank you for Linear Energy and Dr. Norberto Martins, the team partners. And now keep training for the next race. Thank you.
Congratulations. Looks like we got one round to go in the championship hunt, so we'll give you some time to rest, and then looking at possible championship next week after Indianapolis. So congratulations on the win. A solid, dominant performance.
Thank you.
He is a pro. He knows what he's doing. When he gets to the room, he's like, here's my race. I want to thank these people, and that's it. He knows the drill. So he's been here so often.
Sponsors will love him.
Yep.
He remembers.
Yep. And interviewers love him too. We don't have to prompt for anything. He's like, how's your race? My race is this. Thank my sponsors. I'm out. So congratulations on him. I don't see Gary Lovern. I'm sure, though, that he will probably share any race information that he wants to talk about in the VOR Discord server, which everybody can join. I believe the link is in the description, and you can then sign up to be part of one of the DW12 or the Super Formula Series. I believe they're going to continue that. The R18 Series, which is their premier series, which they have on Saturdays. You can sign up or just kind of check the chatter. But that is all in the Discord. Well, Kyle, that's the end of your first race. You ready to try this again next week?
Ready to go. I'm got 4 fresh tires, filled up with gas, ready to rip.
All right. Well, you tell me, folks. Let me know if those rookie stripes should come off. I think they should. I think the rookie test was pretty good. So we will see Kyle again here in a week at Indianapolis, where we will decide the championship for the VOR DW12 Championship Series. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium: Rafi Eckert, your winner; Alexander Bonney, P2; Gary Lovern, P3. Join me again next week for the final round of the VOR IndyCar DW12 Championship Series as the teams and drivers come to my hometown in Indianapolis to tackle the world-famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Coverage begins this season around 10:30 a.m. Eastern, excuse me. So as always, you can find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com/RaceFirst. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game's not easy. Please help support RaceFirst with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of today's race. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, above all, we want you to click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out more RaceFirst's other iRacing programming. We have a lot of it, including tonight. Season 7 of the Dark Horse Racing Series DW12 IndyCar Series starts at Kansas, 8:50 p.m. Eastern. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge and all of iRacing. RaceFirst, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries, learn more about RaceFirst or what we do, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook or Twitter, or you can follow all of us via our Twitter handles right here. And I just have a couple. Kyle, you on Twitter?
I am. I believe I am at the Clendy.
There you go. You want to add him? You can add him. Here's RaceFirst. There's me and our Tuesday night team right there. Feel free to add those guys. So for everyone at RaceFirst, I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all, happy Sunday. Thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us next week right here in Indy for the last race of Season 1, the inaugural season of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar DW12 Championship Series. Good night.